Hey Filipe, I hope I pronounced your name right. I thought I would just make a short video uh, going over all the things, the changes that I made so that it would be easier for you to, it would save time, some time. So I have this on DM model open and close sort of watcher, and it takes two callback functions. Uh, this one, as the name suggests, fires on when the individual conversation starts, and this one fires when the whole conversation, modal closes. The whole direct message modal closes. So here I have, so it listens for the modal, and whenever it is none, it fires on the handle close callback, and whenever it is open, it listens for the individual conversation open, and whenever the individual conversation opens, it fires this callback that was passed. So, so uh, why I am doing this set state is DM model to keep a track of if this model is open or not. I'll just show you in a bit. This was the reason. This was the problem that I was facing that I asked you in the first place on Twitter. So I'll talk about it when it comes. So whenever the modal closes or open, we are firing handle open, or handle close or handle open functions accordingly. And so we have fired that. So let's look at what is in the handle conversation open callback function. So first of all, it restores the saved message if a conversation has had a saved message before. Then it listens for the change of is modal DM open property in local state. Local storage, which we are setting here in on modal open and close watcher. So this was the thing that I was telling you about before. So we are keeping track of when it is open and closed in the local storage itself. And where did it go? So in handle conversation open, after restoring the saved message, we are listening for when the modal closes or opens, and we send that state of modal to handle message change a function each time that it should fire. So let's take a look at on message change. What is it? So on message change is basically whenever the user changes the content of the message that they are typing. So on message change fires, and we then handle the message that changes. When user types anything or whatever, pastes something in the text field, whenever that changes, we fire off handle message change with the state of the model. I'll tell you why we are needing to do this in a bit. So let's look at what handle message change does. So we are importing handle message change from our features. The preserve text messages file. So handle message change takes the modal state from the local storage, as I told you earlier. We read which conversation it is. We read if what the current message is, and we just as you had previously guided, uh, get all the messages, and we append this conversation's current message to the messages that were already there that we have fetched from local storage here. And if the modal is open, then we then only we set it back, the updated messages back to the local storage. We are needing to do this check because as soon as the modal closes, this fires off. If we are not checking with this if statement, this will fire off with an empty message. So for example, if I was on Twitter and my last message, right, if for example, um, this I have something stored with Sindre, and then the last message that I'm trying to save is, for example, with you. So what's up? And if I will close this, then Twitter will tend to delete this message, which is what we are trying to save. That is precisely the problem statement. But uh, it will. So this will fire off with an empty message. So this will be an empty message. So even though I have something here, as soon as I would click and then I will open up again, this will come up empty if we are not doing this check. So that is the need that we have to constantly look for the changes of the local storage browser. I mean, storage.onChange.add listener. We are first checking if it is a local storage change, and if is DM model open property has changed, and whenever it is, then we keep the track of, I mean, we update the this this variable, and whenever the handle change, a message change will be fired. So as soon as we are writing something and we close, then handle change event will fire, because the Twitter, as I said, the Twitter will tend to empty the text field, what the content editable div. So in order to prevent um, this set to local storage, when the this current message gets empty as soon as we happen to close the modal, that is the reason why we have to keep a track of this modal state, if it is open or not. I think I am not able to think how to handle this in any other way. So if you have any ideas, I'm obviously very welcome to listen to them and work on them if you tell me. So in the preserve text field, I have I have made generic functions that I could use in the watchers. So remove messages is a function that takes a function which should return an IDs of all the message ID. I mean, we should return all the message IDs that should be resaved. So, for example, as soon as the modal closes, we are handling the TM modal close. So let's see what this function does. So it removes messages which whose IDs are non-empty messages. So for example, if I come here, it will oh sorry for so okay, I'll delete it, and I'll come over your conversation again. So imagining that this is the first time that I'm clicking on this conversation, as soon as I'll open, it will store an empty message in the local storage, which is fine. But we do not want this to be in local storage even when we close the modal. So for example, if I close this, so that empty message will get deleted from the local storage with the help of remove messages. So remove messages, we get the local storage, we get the saved messages. We have passed another function. This is a function, so it returns all the IDs that should be resaved and discard the message IDs which should not be. So we get that. We select only those IDs from the saved messages, and then we resave it to the local storage. This will delete all the empty messages that would have been stored before. So this is the remove messages. Um, so similar thing happens when, for example, I come into the messages and I go on to any message and I tend to click here and delete message. As soon as I click the delete, then what will happen is um, so I have another, so this was the another watcher which I have set up. So you were asking before why I had set up two. This was the reason. On message delete, let's see what it does is, so it looks for the body changes, and as soon as it detects when this confirmation dialog opens, and we set up a click event listener on this confirm delete button. As soon as we hit as soon as we click it, we want to delete this message. If there were any content in the local storage at all, we should delete it. So let's see what we are passing in its callback. So on message delete, um, we are again using the same remove messages, but this time this is a separate function. We are giving it all the IDs of the messages that are not to be deleted. So we are just excluding the one that is being deleted. So IDs of not deleted messages, we have saved messages as the argument, and we filter out all all the messages excluding the one that is to be deleted, and it will remove the it will resave the updated messages to local storage. So this was the reason why I have a separate handler here. So okay, so what else is remaining? So I guess other things are pretty explanatory, and you might have read them already. So that is the high level overlook of what I have done so far. Please let me know what you think and what changes could be made, and I will tend to work on them. And thanks for your help, by the way. I really appreciate it, because I do not have a job right now, and I'm just trying to improve. Um, I just I'm just trying to learn whatever I can. So thank you so much.